So AOC, she's really smart, I think.
Brilliant lady.
Yeah, sure. Just
Brilliant.
a smart woman. Not an idiot savant. Less the savant. Last week, AOC blamed Trump for...
What?
Yeah, her, what is that?
Abuelas.
No way.
Abuelas, right?
Yeah.
It means grandmother.
Is it grandmother?
It means grandmother.
Yeah.
I do not speak French.
Not a lick of French. No.
Last week, AOC blamed Trump for her grandma's impoverished living conditions in Puerto Rico.
Oh, man.
Tweeting, just over a week ago, my abuela fell ill. I went to Puerto Rico to see her. My first time in a year plus because of COVID. This is her home. Oh, sorry. This is her, that is how she wrote it.
You were correct, yes.
This is her home. Hurricane Maria relief hasn't arrived. Trump blocked relief money for PR.
You are fake news.
Yeah. Over the weekend, however, AOC's alleged aunt... Wait, alleged aunt?
Wait, that's a little...
That sounds weird. Who wrote that? Was it Lily?
I think
Lily,
so, yeah. Yep.
Get in here.
Get in here.
Now, why did you write alleged aunt? Alleged aunt.
Well, the Daily Mail article, apparently the reporters went to Puerto Rico and they actually found her abuela's house. Mm-hmm. But there was this lady who identified herself as AOC's aunt. So it could be her aunt, or it could just be a based Puerto Rican lady who gave a statement, which either way, what she said was true. So,
all right. You're free to go, Lily.
You're going to allow it,
Thank you for coming in.
Okay.
I'm going to allow it. It makes sense. Yeah, we were discussing this earlier. Like, it always seems that these Democratic political, whatever you want to call them, have a brother or a cousin or family member.
Or an abuela.
Yeah, or an abuela or a bubuela who hates them.
Yes, and they
and
won't
completely sides with the other party.
Yeah. Yes.
They're like, oh, do you know him?
Oh,
yeah, he sucks.
He's terrible.
Oh, she's an idiot. I want them. She could not read until she was 17. And even then, it was just the menu at McDonald's.
Oh.
So anyway, her alleged aunt told the Daily Mail that the living conditions in Puerto Rico aren't Trump's fault.
Oh, whoops.
Saying,
wait a
it's
second.
a problem here in Puerto Rico with the administration and distribution of help. It is not a problem with Washington. We had the assistance and it didn't get to the people.
Oh, my gosh.
And this, believe it or not, isn't the first stupid thing AOC has done.
Really?
Here are 5 more examples of the dumb things AOC has said just this year.
Just this year.
First
we had to
one.
limit the time frame, okay? We only have so much time.
Well,
You don't have an entire show to dedicate.
This isn't a 4-day-long marathon. Let's see. She said, almost died during the January 6th riot. You guys remember that?
I can tell you that I had a very close encounter where I thought I was going to die. And
I left on the spaceship.
You have all of those thoughts where, you know, at the end of your life, and all of these thoughts come rushing to you. And that's what happened to a lot of us on Wednesday. And I thought I did not know if I was going to make it to the end of that day alive. And not just in a general sense, but also in a very, very specific sense.
She was in a different building, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a completely
Across the street.
different building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried about that.
Yeah.
She talking about the BLM riots?
Then she said on a podcast called Latino USA, because
okay.
Latinx they didn't
Can't
hear
wait to hear.
about,
No.
that she was in therapy because of the January 6th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Took some time, and it was really Ayanna Pressley when I explained to her what had happened to me, like the day of, because I ran to her office, and she was like, you need to recognize trauma, and that this is something that you went through, but we're all going through. And it's really important to pause after that.
So you're doing therapy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm doing therapy, but also I've just slowed down. I think the Trump administration had a lot of us, especially Latino communities, in a very reactive mode.
Is that how she orders food at a restaurant?
Yes.
I'll have the taquitos.
Well, she does it on a Latino network where she's speaking English.
Yes. It is amazing, isn't it?
By the
she's
way-
like, I'll be speaking English all except for the easy words.
Abuela.
Abuela.
My abuela.
Well, she also said that climate change was caused by racial injustice, which I do agree.
Wow.
I have noticed that every time somebody drops an N-bomb, it rains.
Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. That's terrible.
What a dumb comment. On me. I'm just saying you shouldn't be racist. I think that's very obvious.
That is
I will say though, it doesn't affect the weather. Unless you count.
Yeah,
I
that's not a
don't think so.
factual
I mean, I
statement there.
guess if you count the smoldering cross, but there's really like what? How does it even?
I don't.
Let's hear what this genius has to say. In my
Are
opinion,
you for real? So let's talk about this because so much of our national conversation, which is not a conversation about immigration, is driven by people who could not care less about immigrants. Often people want to say, why aren't you talking about the border crisis? Or why aren't you talking about it in this way?
Those fans are aggressive.
Well, we're talking about it. They just don't like how we're talking about it. Because it's not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. It's a climate crisis. It's a trade crisis. And also, it's a carceral crisis. Because as I have already said, even during this term and this president, our immigration system is based and designed on our carceral system.
if I tell you to hold your phone sideways, and if you don't, it's going to cause climate change, will you do it? Well, and if you, AOC has more. Finally, AOC said the answer to rising New York.
Hold on. That's the last one. So you said this already, but you said climate change was caused by racial injustice. But there's a clip for that.
Is there really?
There is.
Yeah, there's another one.
The Green New Deal also, importantly, recognizes the systemic cause of climate change. Because while climate change is a planetary crisis, it is not caused by an environmental or random, it does not have a random or environmental genesis. It's not just human caused.
The band.
It's societally caused.
The book of the Bible.
The climate crisis is a crisis born of injustice, and it is a crisis born of the pursuit of profit at any and all human and ecological cost. That's right. Which means
Amen.
that we must recognize in legislation
Said the guy behind the diaper.
that the trampling of
Don't ask
indigenous
why
rights
AOC's got a
is
nice
a
house.
cause of climate change. The trampling of racial justice is a cause of climate change because
what?
we are allowing people and we are allowing ourselves to make sure we are allowing folks to deny ourselves human rights and deny people the right to health care, the right to housing and education.
Oh.
Okay.
Did she say the trampoline of racial injustice?
Yes.
I
Sounds fun.
I'd go.
Yeah.
They're actual words, but in syntax, they just don't work.
Could it be like a blow up castle?
Why did she
Yeah.
say trampoline?
The bounce house of racism.
I think somebody leaned over to the guy and like, hey, she looks like she's rambling. Can you say, yeah, that's right, in just a
That's
minute,
right,
just to
yeah.
throw everybody off and let her reset?
Yeah, the
That's right.
Just to
Okay,
sound like somebody agrees
yeah,
with her.
Yeah, you're right. And then she just stumbles back into and affordable health care and housing and
She throws it all out.
college. I think we should tax the rich. No Amazon. What else did I forget?
Society, people, and folks. I mean, she's the redundancy department of redundancy.
the super slide of hate.
Oh my gosh.
There's all kind of
It's lethal, deadly, and been known to kill people.
Yes, it has.
This would be a little bit more, humorous to me if she wasn't actually making policy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It would be more humorous if there wasn't somebody there like, yeah.
I agree.
Like, why? What did you like about that just now? I don't know.
It surprised AOC. Well, I haven't. Wow, I got a fan, I guess.
Yeah, she's like, well, this is weird. Usually people don't like to acknowledge that I don't know what I'm saying. This guy's like, preach on. And finally, AOC. Look who's the dumb one now. And finally, AOC said the answer to rising New York crime is to stop building jails.
Carceral. There we go.
And it is not acceptable for us to use jails as garbage bins
Things.
for human beings.
Does she have a stutter now?
People.
She talks to Joe a lot.
Yeah, it's rubbing off.
And so it is not a place for us to throw people for whom we don't want to invest in the actual holistic issues of their lives. If we want to reduce violent crime, if we want to reduce the number of people in our jails, the answer is to stop building more of them. The answer is to make sure that we actually build more hospitals. We pay organizers. We get people mental health care and overall health care, employment, etc. It's to support communities, not throw them away.
Hold on. It's the etc. that really puts a fine point on it.
Etc.
And we do all the other stuff we need to do to help them, and etc. You fill in the blanks. Come on.
If you've committed a horrible, senseless act, we feel that you should get benefits.
That was the Green New Deal, et cetera, et cetera,
Listen,
et cetera.
Et cetera is always good to say out loud because it just shows you don't know what you're talking about. Health care and etc. Well, what do you mean? Stuff.
Yeah,
Listen, I just said that we should stop building jails and that'll create fewer criminals. I need a minute.
Yeah. This guy just slaughtered 8 families. What, does he have dental?
I feel like this is her. Like, she, over the weekend, she watched The Field of Dreams and she's like, if you build it, they will come. And she's like, oh, if we don't build it, they won't commit crime.
Yeah.
And they're so insensitive.
And her mind just blows.
We're going to talk about prisons. Can I have the entire backdrop be people of color?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
right.
What?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Not a good look.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Oh, my God. How
Well,
stupid is that?
It's like, we need to stop building jails. Well, they're building them because the crime.
Yeah.
They're not building them with the hopes of having people book a room for a night.
Yeah, they're not garbage disposals. They're prisons
Bins.
where you have to put people that aren't fit for society currently.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that there's obviously flaws in a prison system.
Of
if
course.
it really is about rehabilitation, I think people do deserve a second chance. I really do.
I think it's about cheap labor, and Kamala Harris would know more about that. We should ask her. She put a lot of people in there.
Rumor has it she kept people in for the labor, but I don't want to.
Allegedly.
I don't want to talk out of court.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.